right, folks, Donald Trump's patrol agents have been in Chicago, walking in packs along Michigan Avenue where there's just so much crime happening. They're also monitoring other popular downtown destinations. Last week, the Department of Homeland Security reported that more than 900 arrests have been made as federal officers continue to target what the administration describes as the worst of the worst. In 2016, filmmaker Elise Johnson and journalist Tiffany Walden launched The Tribe, that's with two I's, a digital media platform designed to reshape the narrative of Black Chicago. They've been covering the increasing militarization of Chicago. They join us right now. I'm glad to have both of y'all here. So for the folk who have been following, so how have y'all been covering this on your platform?
For sure. Thank you for having us on the show, Roland. Since Trump announced in August that he was interested in sending troops here to increasing the immigration enforcement here in Chicago, we just hit the ground running, and we've been covering every single day a lot of the ICE activity that's been happening here in Chicago. And it started out, in the surrounding Chicagoland area in the suburbs, and now, it's in the city. And just this past week, it started to reach Black Chicago neighborhoods of South Shore, of Bronzeville, and just yesterday on the west side of Chicago where we're located, a man was put in a chokehold by a federal agent, a Black man, in fact, was put in a chokehold by a federal agent here on the west side. So it's ramping up every single day here in Chicago, and I don't think that it's getting the national attention because everyone's so focused on the troops coming here, but this is a militarized federal enforcement activity that's happening here in Chicago, and it's terrorizing all communities, including the Black community.
This is your website right now. You see it right here. You see the story. Video shows feds choking a Black man in East Garfield Park. The next one, new details emerged surrounding incident that led to a Black man being choked by the feds of Chicago. Federal agents again record observers. Others load older man into. So y'all really on top of this. And how have people been responding? Have you seen an increase in traffic? Are you seeing people sharing information and really going to y'all on this?
Our web traffic has tripled. We're seeing historic numbers on our website. People are really wanting to know what's happening in regards to ICE and this militarized force that's coming to their neighborhoods. Chicago is a place where I think a lot of people focus so much on the city, but the immigration tactic that they're using here does include the suburbs. And so now you have suburban residents, volunteers, city organizers, everybody's working together to try to be there for each other and support each other. And, for us, we're even talking to people in LA and in DC. We had a LA publication reach out to us, LA Taco, to talk about, the work that we're doing and the collaborations that we're doing with other independent media. And the same thing with DC. We have a story on our website right now where organizers are giving advice to Chicagoans on how to deal with such militarized force in the city, since they've been dealing with that already. So we're seeing a lot of, I hate to say positive response, but we're just seeing a lot of response and gratefulness for our coverage here in Chicago.
We've seen journalists being targeted as well. Have your journalists encountered any issues as it relates to being out there reporting?
Well, the Tribe has working with a collaboration of about 10 local independent organizations. So although none of our journalists have been targeted at this time, one journalist who we've been working with at a publication called Unrivaled was detained by federal agents at a Broadview ICE detention facility, which is a couple of miles west of Chicago. So he was detained while covering a protest there, and journalists here in the city rallied to put out statements and to put pressure on the government to release him. But many people who have been protesting have been detained, and Steve is a white man, so he told us that that people of color are being detained. They're not having as good of luck as he had with getting released so quickly. So it's definitely concerning for us and everybody who's been following this about the safety of journalists, because they have been targeted.
And Roland, I just want to add to that too. I went out to Broadview about 2 weeks ago. I have family in Broadview. Like, I'm very familiar with the suburb. It's wild to watch what they're doing to people out there in Broadview. I saw with my own eyes. There's snipers on the roof of the boarded up Broadview ICE facility. They're shooting people with pepper bullets. They intentionally threw a tear gas canister towards a clearly marked ABC 7 news truck, and the whole row of media who was in that area, in that vicinity, inhaled that tear gas and was visibly impacted by it. So it's very aggressive, and it's a very excessive use of force happening out there in Broadview every week.
Them also rappelling from Black Hawk helicopters down buildings as well, and so is this happening around the clock?
The tactics changed. So I will say in the early part of this in September, they were doing early morning raids. So there was one that got a lot of media attention that happened in a suburb called Elgin, where Christy Nome, the CBP, they all came out there. They had all of their militarized outfits on, and they did a raid on a home where they broke into this home, tore down the doors, and they actually detained a U.S. citizen before letting them go hours later. Then they kept some other people that they took from that raid. And so now what you're seeing is them kind of gravitate towards kind of in the wee hours of the night, and in the evening they're doing raids now, like the one in South Shore. They went to an apartment building in a black neighborhood and just raided that entire apartment building. I think they took like 37 people in that raid, but there were children that were zip tied outside. There were black people who were detained during that particular raid. So the tactics seem to change every 2 weeks.
And Roland, when you think about safety, we have black people whose homes, the doors were knocked off the hinges. Their homes were raided. Children were detained and zip tied. So when we talk about public safety, these people have to return to their homes without having doors on the hinges, like with completely being exposed. People were obtained while undressed. So they really don't have any regard for the community. Black people certainly didn't ask for this, and people are outraged.
Broadway, Illinois Police Chief Thomas Mills has been speaking out, angry with how ICE officers are trashing even local officers. This is what he said at a news conference.
My name is Thomas Mills. I am the Chief of Police for the Village of Broadview. We are experiencing an immediate public safety crisis. The deployment of tear gas, pepper spray, mace, and rubber bullets by ICE near the processing center in the Village of Broadview is creating a dangerous situation for the community and all first responders. Broadview residents, police officers, and firefighters, paramedics are being exposed to these agents. Our own Broadview police are routinely being exposed to ICE tear gas, forcing them out for an amount of time so they can decontaminate, get their breath, clear their eyes, which takes them out of service. The use of these weapons is directly harming Broadview's first responders. Currently, the Broadview Police Department has launched 3 separate criminal investigations into ICE activities since the Midway Blitz began in the Chicago area. We have requested the full cooperation of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in these investigations, and we expect that cooperation to happen.
And what he's been saying is just how they've been treated. This was another clip. Give me 1 second. I saw this in a local news report. Watch this.
I was shocked. I've never been spoken to by a fellow law enforcement officer in such a way.
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says on top of requiring 75% of his department's manpower for crowd control outside of the ICE processing facility in the west suburban city, he was personally, verbally attacked by ICE agents during a protest.
I'm a leader of a department. I know that my officers are looking at me for guidance and leadership, and I had to ensure that, I had to stay calm and not engage in such unprofessional behavior.
Chief Mills says he was walking across a skirmish on September 12th, the day this video was shot. He was called multiple expletives by an ICE agent, calling him a coward, accusing him of neglecting his duties during protests that got physical. Mills also telling the I-Team about an incident earlier this week where a pedestrian was hit by a truck near the ICE facility.
Allegedly, a ICE agent struck someone and continued on into their location. And during the course of that, while trying to gather information, there was pepper spray released while my officers right there. They felt the effects of that pepper spray where it altered their vision. They were coughing, and I was on the phone with them, and they had to leave the area so they can decontaminate themselves.
Now,
it's crazy. They don't give a damn. Here's what they know. They know, Morgan and Tiffany, they can do whatever they want. Donald Trump has given them full and complete authority to do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Broadview's mayor is a black woman. The leadership in Broadview is black. The suburb is a predominantly black suburb, I believe, at this point. It used to be a white suburb, now it's black. So that just further shows the level and extent of the attacks that this Trump administration is willing to put on black leadership and particularly black mayors across this country.
And Roland, unchecked power is always an issue. It always can lead to abuse. So these federal agents are under the directive of the Trump administration. So they're following orders based on what the Trump administration is requiring or encouraging them to do. And we know that the leadership out of the White House is incredibly racist and doesn't really have any regard for the law. So we shouldn't expect these federal agents to really have any regard either.
It seems like it's a game to them, to be honest. Again, with our collaboration that we're doing, where we're tracking ICE activity daily, and one of the stories, there's a video recording of someone recording ICE doing their enforcement, and the ICE agent looks directly in the camera and says, "I hope you get my good side." So it's like this is a game, to them, that they're, acting out whatever it is that Trump and them are trying to achieve with it, but they have no regards for humanity or respect for people or anything in the actions that they're doing.
Questions from the panel. Zachary, you first.
My question is, I'm looking at and thinking about all of my, supporters, followers, people out there on social media who are going to see this in clip, taking key parts, making content around it. What is the top line message that you want to get out to the people in terms of how people in other parts of the country can support Chicago and the work that you guys are doing?
Well, so many people are asking us, what can local governments do? How can we resist? How can we fight back? We definitely encourage people to lift their voices, spread information, know their rights, know that your local government kind of has their hands tied. The way that they can fight back is really in the courts. But when it comes to the Department of Homeland Security, that was created by Congress. It's going to take acts of Congress in order to reel this back. So this is about Republican leadership owning this and these failed policies and their failure to hold Donald Trump accountable. The only way this stops is if Donald Trump is removed or by an act of Congress or if ICE is defunded. And that is all in the hands of our Congress. So this is about how do we organize, how do we mobilize people to make sure that there are public officials in place who can reel back all of this unchecked power that's coming out of Washington.
And to add to that, for me, a big takeaway is coming out of yesterday's story regarding the black man who was put in a chokehold by the federal agents. There was witness video that you can hear people in the background saying, he's not an immigrant. This is y'all only supposed to be choking Mexicans and things like that. So I think us as a people and also us as a nation, we have to get out of this mentality of this isn't happening to us or that this isn't our fight. This is everybody's fight. And that if it's not impacting you right now, it's going to impact you eventually. And I think yesterday, the Black community woke up, or at least this week, starting with what happened in South Shore. I think there was a homeless shelter in Bronzeville that a Black pastor has been speaking out about. And then now what happened on the West Side. People are waking up to see that this level of just ruthlessness from the Trump administration is going to spread outside of the immigrant community. And I'm seeing people wake up at this point.
Hey, what happened to that loud-ass MAGA Negro in Chicago, Chicago Red or whatever? Has she been running her mouth?
They're celebrating. They celebrated what happened in South Shore during the raid at that apartment building because I can't remember if it was DHS or if it was CBP, but one of those agencies came in and said that they detained 37 people. And for them, that's the win. They're just like, yeah, get these Venezuelans, get these people up out of here. So they're still around, but people just,
Yeah, but I just want to say that that's not a real movement that has a lot of steam here in the city of Chicago.
Oh, no, I understand.
Yeah,
I know about the movement, but
noise, but yeah.
right, they make a whole bunch of noise, but again, these are the folks who are always attacking Mayor Johnson, always attacking Democrats, claiming they stand up for Black people against so-called the invasion, but I was wondering if they got anything to say about Black folks being attacked, being impacted. You talked about the pastor's been speaking out. That's Pastor Chris Harris. Listen to this right here.
From ICE and Customs and Borders Patrol stormed and raided our Bronzeville homeless shelter that the city of Chicago asked our CDC to manage. Their actions traumatized our residents, unsettled our neighbors, and shook the very staff who sacrificially served the 260 men and women who called this shelter home. Without warning, 7 to 8 unmarked vehicles arrived. More than 30 armed agents leapt out unannounced and began chasing people, human beings who were merely standing outside of their shelter, preparing to head to work. Now, let me emphasize, 60% of our immigrant residents are employed and work every single day. This is actual footage from our security cameras showing you what this terrifying raid looked like, but no words can describe what this dehumanizing act felt like. Some had legal papers and were literally snatched from the streets. I saw it with my own eyes. When we handed one agent the official papers of a legal resident, the masked agent took the documents, shoved our handcuffed resident into an unmarked vehicle and sped off. That helplessness, watching dignity stripped and lives shattered in seconds, is a trauma that no community should endure. And we must ask, is this activity a rehearsal for something darker? Perhaps even martial law. I get it. Some say they shouldn't be here illegally. Others feel frustration that migrants received resources while so many of our own unhoused and unemployed still struggle. I hear that. I understand that. But today, I'm not asking us to debate politics, partisanship, or even the valid tensions that exist. I'm asking us to consider this. What is the role of humanity in moments like this? As a faith leader, I choose to anchor myself with what Micah chapter 6, verse 8 declares. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. This is not about political sides. This is about moral responsibility. Many in our city feel helpless, unsure what to do. Let me be clear. We must continue to serve. We must continue to house, clothe, and feed the more than 260 residents entrusted to us, no matter what. But let me be honest, this crisis has made the work even harder. Some of our residents who were working will now lose their jobs out of fear for being seized on their way to or from work. Serving this many...
Nola, what's your question?
So first and foremost, thank you so much for the work that you're doing. I've been hearing so much about you all from folks in Chicago saying you are doing the real reporting coming out of Chicago right now. My question is, This work can't be easy. How can people support you all, support the work that you're doing? How can people help support financially or just by getting the word out? Because it's going to take your voices to tell the people the truth. And a lot of people are listening to you all right now. So how can the people support?
Thank you so much. The tribe, we are the owners of the tribe, and we've been around for 8 years. And it's going to take the people to allow us to be able to continue to be independent and to tell the truth. So you can go to our website right now, thetribe.com, TheTriibe.com. A pop-up will come on your screen, and it will prompt you to give a contribution or to become a member. We would love for you all to join our newsletter, make a monthly contribution so that this work can be ongoing.
Reese.
Thank you for the work that you're doing. I'm curious what you've reported in terms of the aftermath of these raids. We know that these agents are coming in, guns blazing, maybe not shooting people in the literal sense, but knocking down doors, destroying property. Can you talk a little bit for people out there who aren't aware of what happens next and what people are left with once these agents leave?
They're trying to rebuild their homes. In South Shore, for example, that apartment building, it's in a community, a predominantly Black community, where a lot of people are living, in apartments that have questionable ownership. We've been covering some of those apartments out there where they are living, they're owned by slumlords, and the conditions of the apartments themselves already were in bad shape. So now on top of, already having that tenant fight of trying to have equitable housing, they now have to rebuild after ISIS just plowed through their living spaces and just left it in complete shambles. People's doors are off the hinges. People who had become friends with some of the Venezuelans who lived in that building, like now their neighbors are gone. The kids are gone or are uprooted. So yeah, people are just trying to figure out how to put the pieces back together. And there's a lot of organizations in Chicago, rapid response organizations, and different activists on the ground who are speaking with residents and trying to help them rebuild after this.
All right, folks, if you want to support the tribe, pull up my iPad, please. If you go to TheTriibe.com, you see they have their Reshape newsletter. You can do monthly or annual. You can do 10, 20, 50, or even custom amounts. So you got that right there. So please check that out and to support. Again, this is right here. If you go to their main page, you see their stories right there as well. You can get their alerts. Pull up their social media stuff. Do y'all have it? Y'all do a graphic of their social media stuff? All right, we should have a graphic of their social media stuff. Hold on, let me go to it. All right, let's see here. So you can follow them on Instagram. Let's see here. You can follow them. We'll pull it up. But again, they're on Facebook, Twitter. I don't call it X. Instagram, YouTube, as well as TikTok. So check them out. And I expect to be seeing this shirt in my mailbox next week so I can wear it.
It's on the way. I promise you it's in the mail.
So I can wear it on the on the show and so represent. So great work. So please, y'all, go to the tribe, TheTriibe.com. Morgan, Tiffany, thanks a lot.
Thank you for your support, Roland. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, y'all.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.